These are the shots that I can guarantee you that some of the best snooker players I know simply won't see. So there's a good chance that what's holding your game back could be hidden from you in plain sight. This is Break from Life. Welcome back, and if it's your first time watching one of our videos, then it's fantastic to have you here. Have you ever been playing someone better than yourself and then you just notice they seem to do something stupid? You felt like you were doing everything right, but after what appears to be a few crazy shots later, it looks almost certain that you'll lose the game. You may even wonder how this could have happened, but it's really just because your opponent's playing the game in a completely different way to you. In fact, it could be so different you could even argue that they're playing a completely different game. This is because they'll see ways of playing shots that you won't, or they will have the confidence and the knowledge to take on a shot that you don't see as on. But this video is here to help you do something about that, so you can hopefully play shots that you previously hadn't considered, starting with some thin cuts. Thin cuts are difficult to line up and often fraught with danger, but in snooker you can't afford to turn down a chance that you may never get again. Having the ability to pot awkward shots like this in a game makes a huge difference, and the best snooker players have the ability to pot close range shots of any angle. If it cuts, that means it's on, and they're probably going to play it. Of course, you still have to recognise the difference between the shots you should and probably shouldn't be playing. Shot selection is still absolutely vital, but you really can't afford to turn down anything that you ordinarily would pot just because it's in an extreme angle. Although it's inevitable with these shots that the cue ball's going to be running loose, so you will have to keep it out of danger. So what's the best way to go about playing these shots? Well, to start off with, you need to work out if this is a shot you'd regularly pot anyway, because you still don't want to be playing a shot you're likely to miss. Then you want to get the angle right. To do that, I'm going to be using this side of the white to contact here. Once you've got the angle right, you then need to work out where the cue ball's going to go. I think it's just going to flick the edge of the brown, which will probably leave me out of position, so I'm going to play it with a tracer right-hand side, which should avoid the brown, and play it at a pace to come round for the black. On this shot, I've given myself the best possible chance of getting the pot and position. Had it not hit the middle jaw, it probably would have been perfect. I want to say a massive thank you to everybody who's taken part in the map. I've had thousands of comments from people all across the world, even from places I didn't even realise had heard of snooker. Every time someone gives me their name and location, I add them to this spreadsheet. I now have 3 full spreadsheets of names and locations. Everybody's got about the same chance of getting on the map, whether you commented right at the beginning of this or you commented on the last video. So please just be patient, as I've got every one of your comments logged down, so you've got a good chance of getting on there eventually, and please don't comment twice because I will notice. That being said, I Like Toastbrot is from Stuttgart in Germany, which is about there. The second shot that I've noticed that sometimes snooker players don't even see are pots down the cushion. And this is understandable, especially if the corner pockets of the club you play at are particularly tight. Because this is a shot you have to be incredibly accurate with, and the harder you play the shot, the more accurate you have to be. On most tables, a nap of the cloth will pull the ball into the top cushion, making this a slightly easier shot when you play it at a slower pace, but along the bulk cushion, the same effect pulls the ball away from the cushion, making it much harder. And on a lot of club tables, the ball will actually pull away from every cushion. So what's the best way of playing these shots? Well, when the ball you're playing is tight on the cushion, you want to be playing the cue ball to strike the cushion and ball at exactly the same time. Still play these shots slowly, but easily with enough pace so they don't have a chance to roll away from the cushion. When the ball's away from the cushion a little bit, you want to make sure you're giving yourself an angle one way or another, so you give yourself the chance to get the cue ball out and play it towards the far jaw, because if you touch the cushion, it simply won't go. These are some of the hardest shots to play in the game, really, because even if you're playing a thin shot, it's very unlikely to go safe. So position on a shot like this is absolutely crucial. If you've got a straighter shot like this, it's going to be easier to pot, but because you're going to have to play at more pace to get out for a colour, you're making the shot missable. However, if you're thinner on a shot like this, then you're making the shot a lot harder. Ideally, you want to be about here, so all you've really got to do is play the pot as slow as possible, and you should come out nicely on the black. This is a way I usually practice basic shots along the cushion. When you're in position, these shots are incredibly easy. When you're out of position, it's incredibly difficult. And if I find I'm doing this routine well, I'll increase the difficulty by sticking the red tight on the top cushion. By just having a 30+ break with these routines, you'll find you'll start looking at them more positively in a match. And another shot you have to play positively is a roll-up behind a colour. These shots are fairly straightforward, but they do require a bit of practice before you'll feel confident playing them. Believe it or not, there's a lot of players out there who are concerned about playing this type of shot. So what can you do if you struggle with this? Well, to start off with, remember the direction you play it in is more vital than the pace you play it at. I've knocked this brown halfway to the blue spot, but as you can see, I've still covered every single red on the table. You always want to play the shot confidently, even if it feels like it's going to go wrong. And when you can start to look at the shot a little more tactically. Rolling into the reds on this side is the easiest way to get it safe, but if I roll up behind the brown, or even the yellow here, I leave a one cushion escape to get it safe. However, if I roll up in the right position behind the green, that cuts off this one cushion escape, and you have to play a harder escape, which has a bigger chance of going wrong. And something I really don't want to get wrong is Mohammed Tabish from Kashmir. Snooker's all about playing the shots that give you the best possible chance of winning, but unfortunately at some stage that will involve having to play shots you're uncomfortable with. I'm talking here about shots you're either forced into playing or are too valuable to turn down. These shots include pots over distance that you've got a very high chance of potting but are very unlikely to go safe. There's about a 0 chance of it finishing there if I've missed the pot, isn't there? Opening the reds and giving yourself more of a chance to score points at this visit. Confidently playing position on tricky shots that are fraught with danger. Making the shot controllably harder in order to get the cue ball in the right place. Getting all of these things right is absolutely crucial if you want to score heavily in pressure situations against better players. Just remember, this won't go right all the time and you will find yourself losing the odd games because of it. Plants are another shot that often good snooker players fail to spot, and that can really harm your game because when they're set to the pocket like this, you can almost guarantee you pot the ball. When they're spaced apart like this, it's a little bit harder. I find the best way to line up a plant like this is to see how far left and right I can aim the first red on the cushion and still pot the second red. I then try to use my regular technique to aim for this point, which is a lot harder when the reds aren't as straight. However, when the reds are closer together, they tend to react differently. Hitting the reds on the left like this, they tend to move as one unit towards the pocket. So to successfully make this plant, I have to hit the first red on the left-hand side to get the second red to move successfully to the right. But of course, it really gets tricky when they're about this far apart and you're not sure if it's going to squeeze or not. These shots can make the game so much easier if you see them. Here, for example, I don't have to risk going into the reds. But as I said, this is probably the most common shot that even some of the best snooker players don't actually see, and that's a shame because even though they're not always obvious, if you're lucky enough to find them, they can be game changers. Here, for example, just by squeezing the first two reds a little to the left, I can make the correct contact with the second two and make a fairly straightforward pot. However, it won't be straightforward finding John Muir on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia. It's unusual to come to the table and find yourself in position with the chance where everything goes. Often you'll find there'll be another ball blocking one of the key colours, or you may have to play a few decent positional shots before you get nicely in position. Most people refer to these shots as key shots, so the shots that turn small breaks into big breaks. These shots come up at the beginning of breaks when you're trying to get in position, when you're trying to negotiate awkwardly placed balls and get back into position afterwards, and getting into position so you can play a cannon to open up the game. This is all about making sure you're in the best position possible for when you play the make or break shots. Doing this can seriously boost your performance, but sometimes even the best players fail to look far enough ahead. These are what I would describe as the key shots of break building, and position is incredibly important because on a shot like this, if I can get the blue open, I give myself access to probably another 20 or so easy points, and there's nothing really else safe on the table. So my whole break hinges on playing this one shot right. Of course, the main part of this shot is getting in position like this on the red in the first place. Something I think almost nobody takes advantage of in the game is legal jump shots. For example, that's a foul, and however this isn't. You have to hit one ball before you're allowed to jump another. I explained it ages ago in a video about the snooker jump shot rule. It's in the card right now and on the Break From Life channel page, along with a load of other videos to help you dominate at the game and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel. So you won't be able to use a jump shot to help you escape from a snooker, but you will be able to use it to play a positional shot like this. Because you're jumping it, you will have to cut the ball slightly more than normal. If these shots aren't really working, just make sure you play them fairly firm. The second way this can legally help you, but I've never seen it done, is imagine there was just a pink and black left on the table. For the pink to jump all the way over the black, it'd have to go incredibly high. But to just jump over the side of the black, it only just needs to come a little way off the table. To play this shot well, you want to be striking down just below the centre of the cue ball and play this shot firm. And the pink goes in just like magic. If you want some magic to help with your aiming in snooker, then try our video Snooker Aiming Practice Trick. Or if you want help with your cueing, try our video Snooker Straight Cueing Exercises to Improve. And remember, don't just watch, play. And make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website. See you later.